Okay, so this is Mishlei Yud Tes Chaf Vav, right? Mishadid av Yavriach im Bein Mevish Umachpir. This is a weird syntactical one, and also some weird words here. So you want to take a stab?
Something father.
Yeah.
Something mother.
Well, Barach you probably know, right?
Yeah, it looks really familiar. I just can't think of what.
Boreach.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Mishadid is a harder one.
Okay. And the son embarrasses.
Yeah. Embarrassing. Son who embarrasses. Maybe is yeah.
And something.
That's also okay. Yeah, very good. Yeah. So if you look at Metzudos ציון, he says Mishadid is milashon shedida ugzela. So shadad I think would be like okay. Well, I'm actually I think what we'll do just for the sake of ease. Let me just start off by reading the three English translations, and then we'll figure out what we want to work with. So article says he despoils his father. Okay, so like shadad is like to take spoils. Okay. The Yavriachim. Barach is to flee. So Yavriach is to cause to flee.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. Ben Mevish Umachpir, the son who article says who shames and humiliates. Okay. Living Nach says a shameful and humiliating son. So they make it into like a description. A shameful and humiliating son robs his father. So that's Mishadid, and chases away his mother. And then altar says despoiling a father, putting a mother to flight, is the shaming, disgraceful son. Yeah. So the way I would translate it is Mishadid av. See, I see why they switched the two halves, because really the one who's acting as the Ben Mevish Umachpir. But you could, if we tried to preserve the order here, we would say one who. I actually kind of like altars this time, just in a way. Let me try this out. Despoils a father and chases away a mother is a son who shames and humiliates. So that way we get the ambiguity of is that what makes him a son who shames and humiliates, or is that like what that kind of son does? Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Fine, so that is that, and let's look while we're at it at the so Metzudos also said Machpir is Inyan Busha, so he's just treating as synonyms clearly, right? As Mevish and Machpir. Right. My guess, I'm still not in an armchair, so is that Machpir is probably related to Cherpa, one of those ones where you reverse the order, and it's like Kesev and Keves are basically saying Almana and Alma. Yeah, umlal and alma, like I think those are related. So like I think it's one of those things. Okay, fine. So that is the Metzudos ציון. Sadigon says Timsa shehabin hamerea v'hamachpir. So he substitutes mevish for, or he replaced that with merea, that he does evil, and machpir he keeps the same. And he says you'll find shodid aviv v'mavriach imo. You'll find that he despoils his father and chases away his mother. So that is almost the same. And then Targum, I didn't get a chance to look up. I didn't even get a chance to read it. Devayez la'avui uma'arich li'imeh.
Is despoiling like looting?
Yeah, looting is a good word for it. Yeah. Devayez la'avui uma'arich li'imeh brahu mevahasana umachparana. Yeah, I think that's just a straight up translation. Yeah.
It's reminding me of Ben Soramar.
Yes. Yeah.
More that's chase away his mother.
Right. This is true.
Yeah.
Not exactly.
Yeah. No, I hear the association.
Psychologically.
Right.
Yeah.
It feels like.
Okay. So, and then we should probably aim to finish this today, so we could do Q&A tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. So, questions.
What is the looting?
Yeah. What is the Mishadid? What is the...
Presumably, just structurally, it's the Ben who's The ben is leading the father.
Yeah.
And the mother.
Yeah, I think there's no other way to read it. Mishadid of. I think so. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a pshat, but I don't know if there's another way to read it.
Or maybe if your father is looted and your mother is chased away, then you will be embarrassed. And
No, because I think it's active. Yeah.
Okay.
And the only other subject is the ben. So the ben is really doing four things in this: ben mevish umachpir mishadid umavriach. Yeah.
It couldn't be an unstated actor.
That would be weird. So you have an unstated actor doing this action, and then a son who also is acting, but he's not the actor. This is a cumbersome reading, right? Mevish and machpir means he is causing busha and he's causing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So where's mishadid? Where's yavriach? Yeah.
It just in the ways I was reading.
Yeah.
You say there's the unseen actor doing things in the first half, and then causes the ben to become maybe Shemachir in general.
Right. Like,
Cumbersome reading. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would need a reason to read it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to like.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. Okay. So.
What does chasing away his mother mean?
Yep.
Yeah. Is that you already wrote it?
Yep.
What's the difference between Mevish and Machpir?
Yeah. What is the difference between Mevish and Machpir, if there is a difference? And I'm saying that because that was a nod to the Tzyon, saying there is no difference. Right? Because he says Machpir is Ina Busha.
And Mishadid and Yabriach specifically.
Good. Okay, good. Right. So, I'm sure we could coin a better term for this, but the is this an A B C D pasuk, right? Because that's the whole thing of the I saw this originally in the Meiri that or zarua latzadik ula yisra lev simcha could either mean or davka is zarua davka latzadik and then liyishrei lev davka is simcha, or you say it's or v'simcha zarua latzadik ula yishrei lev. So is this an A B C D pasuk? And we had that also in Mishlei in the beginning in chapter 10 is what's it called? Ben chacham yisamach av uben ksil tugas imo. Right, so a wise son makes his father rejoice, and a foolish son depresses his mother. So that you could either learn that it's specifically wise son making his father happy, and specifically foolish son making his mother sad, or you can learn it as a wise son makes his father and mother happy, and a foolish son makes his father and mother depressed.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll tell you right away that there are the Mefarshim take both paths. So yeah, both of them are legitimate.
Okay.
And in fact, some of them even answer Isaac's last question by saying that it's Mevish to the father and Machpir to the mother, and that is the same thing. But that's like showing that it's all the same. But yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Also, how is what's the connection between Mevish and Machpir and Mishadid?
Yeah. Okay, good. What is the causal relationship between Mishadid Yavriach? Yavrich with a chaf, which is what I mistyped. I think that means to graft. That would be different. And I think Yavrich.
Yes.
That's from your sugya. Yeah.
Grafts his mother.
Or wait, is it no propagate? Is it to propagate or to graft?
I don't remember.
It's one of those fancy landing words.
Markiv.
Yeah.
I think Markiv is where you train the branch onto the ground.
Oh, so that's propagating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one of the sugyas that I taught in Shahada. That's why I know, or that's why I partially know. So, what is the relation between Mishadid Yavriach and Mevish Machpir? Yeah.
No, I was gonna say isn't grafting Zomer. I have no idea what Zomer is.
Zomer is pruning. That one I know.
Pruning, okay,
yeah.
Fine. I always forget what Zomer is. So.
Yeah. So then the other question, which is one we raised in the translation thing, is this what defines the Ben Mevish?
Or is it just a result?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is this a symptom? Yeah. Okay. I feel like that kind of covers it pretty much. Yeah. Okay. So what do we say?
I have a tune in my head that's tune from Donna. I don't remember what. At first, that was kind of.
I know what you're thinking. Maybe you should mach fear. Oh man, that song's ruined forever. What does it actually say? Maybe.
I think it's maybe. The first one's maybe.
Mavin uma'azin.
Oh.
Something and then.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wait a minute.
It's
Makshi, if Makshi is in there.
Where's the one that the Chazan stands up right before Shemona Esrei and like says the whole thing?
So that's the one that I thought I was thinking of. You're thinking of Kakeli.
Yeah.
This is from Shofros and Rosh.
Yeah.
I also thought I was thinking of that. That's funny. Yeah, Mavin umazin mabit umachshiv. Yeah, that's it.
Seder, Shofar.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Okay, so got any ideas here? So I feel like the easiest thing to start off with is the Mashad Edav, right? Like, in what way is he despoiling his father? And you could ask the question also is like, why this weird word? Like, if it does mean Inyan Gazela, like, what beyond Gazela is this? Like, why don't you just say Gozel Aviv? That's the easy way to say it. Mashad is a weird word.
It's more. I feel like it's more like gives the connotation of like leaving him destitute.
Yes, yeah, because I think Shadida is also means destruction. You know, that's like, for example, so Ibn Ezra says that why we call them Shadim, because they're Mashadid es Hadas. It is like they destroy the mind, or like they're, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, it's like a type of stealing that leaves the person, desolate or destroyed. So what do you think that means?
Just in terms of like when a Ben is stealing from an Al.
Yeah.
The phenomenon that comes to mind is like a Ben is like in like prime position to like squander the father's money or take it for himself, because even if he's not like setting out to like steal money, he's like, this is all going to be mine one day, and so I'm going to take it or something.
Yeah.
Or something, or some justification. Like, he can just like take like everything.
Right. Yeah. So there is is the quality you're highlighting that like he does feel that he has a certain claim to the money because it's his parents' money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meaning either because he's going to get it one day, or because they did support him and like they do support him. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I mean, like, you know, he's in a physical position to like be able to take the money. You know.
Yeah, and also in terms of knowledge, like he
right.
Like, probably knows where his father keeps things.
Right.
Like,
right. So one possibility here is that he's literally stealing from his father. Right. So that's what we're going with, right? For now.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have Riach Ein.
Yeah. Another possibility is he's stealing his ideas.
Well, it could be that he's like embarrassing him, and like we're just like talking about that. Like,
okay, yeah. So that's another point that comes from within the pshat of the pasuk. Because ordinarily I wouldn't say that mashadid is to embarrass, but because it's clearly saying that, then it could be that the first part's a mashal.
And it's just like that one mashadid is the one thing that doesn't really fit.
Yeah, Yavriach could be because of the shame. Yeah. Right. Okay. Good. Or it could be both. Not in the sense that everyone just wants to say, "Oh, it could be both," but in the sense that like that it's stated this way because he does cause his father a monetary loss through the squandering of his money or whatever, and then that becomes a source of shame. You know.
Right.
What about the Yavriach Ein? So that definitely fits in with the shame part, right? But it's weird that Yavriach is like seems a little extreme, you know. Like it seems like the mother is naturally going to be like not wanting to flee from her son. Like she's going to, I feel like if your mother's fleeing from you, then that's really bad.
You're like actively driving her away.
Yeah, driving her away. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's like I feel like it would make more sense for the mother to like push him away or whatever.
Yeah,
like that's kind of strange.
Oh, you know what? I wonder grammatically if that's how you could read it.
Oh yeah.
If the son, I don't know if being mavriach someone. Oh, sorry, no, you can't read that way because it's yavriach. This is another thing I'm realizing though. Is that it's weird that Mishadid, Mevish, and Machbir are all in the present tense and Yavriach is in the future tense. Because it should say Mishadid av Mavriach in
right.
Ben Mevish and Machbir. You could just say it's a vocable.
Right.
No. Although
it could be poetic though. Like,
yeah, Sadigon does say that, right? Mirea umachbir. He changes I meant to say Shodid Mavriach. He puts the Mavriach in
nice.
in present tense.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So you want to look at Mefarshim and work out ideas from there?
I just have a speculative.
Sure, go ahead.
No, not even just about the Yavriach.
Yeah.
That maybe the Av is more like. He's in this in the present tense, but the aim has like greater like attachment and so can't let go so easily.
Right, that's a good poetic interpretation of the future tense, meaning that she will be cast away, which implies like a non-immediacy. Yeah, yeah. All right, let's look at so the first one I saw, which I thought was the most interesting. I didn't have time to prepare this in terms of ideas, but just in terms of looking through the Mefarshim here. Look at the Metzudos David. This is extreme, okay? So he says, let me just zoom in here. He says, Meshadin Av, V'gomer, Habein Shehu Mevish Umachpir Pnei Aviv, the son who shames his father, Gorim She'aviv Megarish Le'imo. He will cause his father to divorce his mother. So he's taking Yavriach, like, to be specifically, and I think he's taking the Yavriach. I don't know if this is a grammatical thing, but he's saying that Meshadid Aviv and then his Av will be like Mavriach the aim, or something like that. I mean, he's attaching it to the Av. In other words, the son is not the one who's directly driving away the aim. It's the son is causing the Av to drive away the aim.
Right.
And why? Al asher hidri chaso b'derech hazeh, because she guided him in this path. It's her fault, right? Ubal korcho, and against his will, meaning the father's will, Yivazvez nechasav lases la ksubasa. The father's going to have to pay for a ksuba. Okay? V'hari haben hahu gozel es aviv demei haksuba. So he's robbing from his father the worth of the money of the ksuba, umavriach es imo mimeno, and causing his mother to flee, to be chased away from the father. So that's a weird... To me, that sounds like a far-fetched reading, but I'm still curious what the idea is. And the weird thing about it is... I mean, not the weird thing, but the like. what do you always tell like the child of divorced parents? It's not your fault. This is saying that it's his fault, you know.
Right.
Yeah. But one question we didn't ask, by the way, is who's this pasuk for? You know, seems to be for the parents, but I think we should definitely ask that question. Yeah.
Right. According to that, it's a weird order. Like it should have said Yavriach and Meshadid of.
Yes, because that's the cause. The cause is Yavriach aim, and that causes. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, this is a not. Usually, you don't see them just giving a forced shot, but right now this seems forced. So let's keep that on the back burner for a second. I want to do one more that I think is more intuitive, and then we'll
maybe it's Mishadid of because he's Yavriach. Like maybe that's
okay. Oh, okay, that could work. Yeah. Okay, so look at the Meiri here. Okay, two up from there. Two up. Yeah. Mishadid av Yavriach aim ben Mevish Machbir. Mishadid hu inyan kala v'shod. So I think kala here is destruction, not bride. V'shod and not completion. And shod is to loot. Umevish Machbir haim polim yotim. Okay, I always forget how to translate pol yote in English, but kolomar mivayesh ha'av ha'im, meaning he will shame them. Okay, Ratzalomar. Shame boshim lishmu aso. There you go. So they're ashamed because of his reputation, or because what is like said about him, what is heard about him. V'amar derech klal l'sapir b'genuso, and this is saying in a general manner to tell of his degradation, of the son's degradation. Shu mashadid ha'av v'gorem l'imo shetivrach, that he despoils the father and causes the mother to flee. Kihu rekiv hamamun, because he is literally a rotting of money, right? Meaning he causes the money to like rot, meaning like he's constantly like, I guess, mooching off of them. Lo yishkot ad yichalek kol mamono. He will not rest until he depletes all their money. V'nudu lalechem ayeh, and he will cause them to have to wander around for bread. Okay, so it's like extreme poverty. V'hanasuim. Now, nasuim here is not married people; it is the subjects, or sorry, the predicates. Nasuim, wait, predicates. I think chozrim al shenehem, go on both of them. Ilu amar, as if it's saying shehu yeshaded v'yavriach ha'av v'ha'em, like we were saying, whereas A, B, C, D. Shezeh derech halashon, because that's the way of the lashon. Kamosh b'yarna le'el binyan or zor l'tzadik l'shur lives in. But that's his go-to pasuk for that. Yeah. Okay, so that's saying. So that's plain shot is basically without all these complications of divorce. That's like the son is basically going to be mooching off the parents, and then that's going to cause them to be embarrassed when they hear about him, and it's also going to make them. I don't know. It sounds like he's saying that the Yavriach is not only to chase them away in terms of like the shame, but also to make them have to yanudu lalechem aye, to like wander around to like beg for money or whatever, for bread. Yeah. So the question is like, what's this idea that it's, what is it highlighting here? And he says it's l'sapra b'gnuso, but towards what end? And why in such an extreme way? And I think we can assume this is parenting advice. I don't think this is advising the kid. Yeah.
Wait, just to get it clear, he's saying that the embarrassing reputation that the son has is going to cause... So the reputation the son has is what is Mavayish the parents, and then the Shoded and the Yavriach is the monetary impact. Oh, I mean, he does both.
He does both, yeah.
I see.
Yeah, so I guess that's a good way to say it, actually, is that it's saying that there's going to be a psychological impact and a monetary impact.
Okay.
And they're both going to be extreme.
So is the idea like you should teach your son like fiscal responsibility?
I don't think so. Because I feel like this is too far in the opposite direction. Like, in other words, the problem of this son is not just that he's fiscally irresponsible, But that's a good question. It's like, what we didn't define the son, so So I guess it is possible you can say that. I'll tell you why I initially rejected that is because I was learning Ben Mavish as a personality type. Because we saw in chapter 10, Ben Mavish is the opposite of Ben Maskil. Yeah. But Meiri is saying it's a Ben. The Ben will be Mevayesh, his parents, which might not be a personality type. It might just be that he doesn't know how to manage his money. But it is interesting because it does sound like he is either mooching off of his parents or somehow incurring a debt for his parents. Someone else said something similar. Let me just see here.
Can we claim that this pasuk is the definition of his words defining Ben Mavish?
We can claim anything, but I don't want to say that for the Meiri though, right? Because he's going out of his way to say the Ben is Mavayesh. Look at the while we're looking here, look at the rid on the left side under Rashi. Mishadi av yavrich aim klomar ben shu mevishu machpir. Mashadi ha'av she'enu yavel lispo shtuso v'holech mi beso v'lan besados. So the father is he despoils the father in the sense that the father can't tolerate his son's foolishness, and the father, I think, will leave his house and go and sleep in the fields. Okay, v'gam yavrich has imo mina bais, and also chase his mom out of the house. So he's taking it like really literally, and he's making the mashadi a form of yavrich. That's not the one I want to find though. Maybe it was. Oh, maybe it was the Rabag who's all the way at the end. Rabag. And it wasn't even the whole Rabag. Yeah, look at the last page on the packet. on the right column, Chavav. Hine, got it? Habein shehu mevish horav u'machbir, a son who embarrasses and shames his parents. So he says it's for both of them. L'roa min hagav uredifaso elatayvos, due to his bad minhagim, which I assume means like midos, and is chasing after taivos.
Where's the hat?
Yeah. Husiba she shodudu shodudim aviv. He will be a cause. Now I don't know exactly how to translate this, but to despoil the spoils of his father. Kadeshi yachalog mehashalal imam, so that he will, in order to divide the spoils with them. Okay, now I don't know what that means. Okay, but this next one's the one I wanted to get at. O ulai love mehem viavo lihpareh mehaav, or maybe he will borrow from them, and then. Okay, now I don't know what this means. I thought maybe I skimmed it really quickly. Lihpareh mehaav. What I thought it meant was that he's gonna borrow money from or he's gonna cause the father to go into debt. Because I think I just read it hastily and said, they'll come to collect from the father. Then the love mehem is talking about the son, seemingly. And that's why the mother's going to go away. That sounds like what Isaac was saying, is rebuking him in his youth in order so that it doesn't come to this loss. And by the way, just if you remember from before Pesach, the context of these last couple of pasukim were about rebuking and disciplining, right? So that's another reason why we should say this is for the parents. Yeah. So back to the Meiri. It is interesting, by the way, going back to the Metzudos David, it's just in the back of my mind now. There is a phenomenon of a kid causing so much trouble that it introduces, it brings out problematic dynamics in the parents. You know, that's. Oh, that's reminding me of a meeting that I have to go to. I have to leave exactly at 9:15 today. But anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. That's not to say that the kid is blameworthy, because clearly Mishlei is blaming the parents here, but it's saying that, it's pointing out this entire realm of consequences that, failing to raise a kid in a way where he is, not this, could actually, ruin your marriage, Which is not an area that, I think people think that their marriage is its own thing, and they have to obviously cooperate in order to raise the kid, but not that their marriage is dependent on how well they raise the kid.
Right.
And and again, maybe it's extreme in the sense again it's a very extreme shot, but maybe that's the point, is that you could have these unforeseen things that end up tearing apart the family. Another example of this, not an example of this particular phenomenon, but let's say, for example, this I guess this happens a lot throughout Jewish history, is let's say the parents make certain mistakes in how they raise the kid, and the kid goes off the derech and wants to marry a non-Jew, and let's say the mother supports him and the father doesn't, and that leads to a whole big squabble, and that leads to problems. That's ultimately traces back to the parenting, but it expresses itself in severe friction with the parents, Or another common case is the kid is having XYZ problems, and the father wants to kick him out and disown him, and the mother wants to keep him in, and then that causes a thing, and then, well, if you kick him out, then you're going to have to kick me out also, and blah blah blah, Yeah.
Cool.
Not really. No, I'm just yeah. Yeah. What about the Meiri? I mean, here's an interesting thing. Having a kid who you raise improperly, whether it's in terms of the rabag of being rodef as a taivos, or getting into trouble with the law, or not having money management, it will actually like cost the parents. Like it'll have a financial impact on the parents, and like that is something that again I don't think that parents are thinking about that when they're thinking about parenting decisions.
Right.
The question is like, does that actually help? Like, is this going to be the thing that like pushes them over the edge? Like, or is this just one more thing on the pile of like reasons that Mishlei gives for good parenting and avoiding bad parenting?
Well, have we seen effects on the parents yet?
It's hard for me to remember because I feel like we've seen it in chapter 10, but I can't remember if we've seen it in chapter 18 or 19.
Yeah, that was like about being like happy about
right.
This is like practical consequences.
Yeah, right.
This is like, it's not, if you have a son who like squanders money and like, it's not just a cost on you. It's not just a cost on him. You're gonna end up bailing him out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's so. Okay, so that leads me to another thing that we mentioned before. That why are the parents gonna end up bailing him out usually?
Because they care about him.
Yeah. So then that kind of goes contrary to Yavriach though. Like if it's a literal Yavriach, not the divorce Yavriach, but like driving them away. So it's interesting that there's like that seems to be Yavriach is like going against the natural inclination of the parents towards the kid, and then bailing him out is like giving in to that natural inclination.
It could be that it happens so often that they're like fed up with it.
Yeah, I'd say it's the keep, or maybe not. I have a slightly different thing, which is maybe they're bailing him out so much until they can't anymore, and then now they have to like distance from him because otherwise because they can't
practical.
Because they can't bail him out, so they have to just not be associated.
Right. That if it's at the Meiri's point where they're begging for bread, then that seems like it's that kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I'd say this pasuk is like fiscal advice of good parenting. It's like
because I'm thinking, is it fiscal advice of good parenting or parenting advice through fiscal? Like, in other words, is the essence the fiscal advice, or is the essence the parenting advice?
The essence is the fact that it's telling you to be good parents.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's approaching it from like a financial realm.
Yeah. Right.
Saying like, if you aren't good parents, then it's going to be very expensive.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's
the cost of bad parenting.
Right. It is funny. I'm not saying this in any way to like badmouth therapy, but it is a funny thing that like parents will sometimes jokingly, like I mostly see this in movies and stuff like that, but like jokingly say that like if it weren't for their like bad parenting decisions, like when the kids were youthful, they wouldn't have to pay for all this therapy. Like it is a thing that like and again, obviously they didn't have therapy back then, so he's clearly not talking about that. But it's like a modern day corollary of like you can do things in the child's youth, or let's say not even therapy. Let's say like in if you are negligent in terms of your kids' like academics at a young age, and you don't do your part as a parent to establish a solid foundation, the kid is going to be either in need of tutoring, or is not going to get a good job, or is like there are going to be long-term financial consequences to like parental oversight early on.
Oversight, like
I know it's a contronym, right?
Yeah.
You want to contronym this?
No.
A word that means the thing and its opposite.
Oh, I thought there was a something else. But
Yeah. Right. Like oversight could either mean to not look at something or to look at something, like to like be watching over it. Yeah.
I totally didn't realize that oversight was.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah. Yeah. Like the oversight committee. Like, are they the people who don't do anything, or? Yeah.
They're very watchful, but they miss a lot of things.
Yeah. Look at Rבינו Yona, just to round out the picture here. It's funny the emphasis he puts on there. This is a little sexist. Mishadet av yavriach em lefisha dibur lamala al hatochacha. Since it spoke above about rebuke, yaskir ata es asher yikra es ha'av es ha'em mechassoch shivtam v'lo yechichu b'nam. So now it's mentioning now what is going to happen to the father and mother who withhold the rod of discipline and don't rebuke their son. Ki ben mevish bechasron dato, son will cause shame through his ignorance or his lack of knowledge. Umachpir b'sichlus ma'asav, and he'll be machpir through the foolishness of his actions. So that's interesting. Just division between mevish and machpir is mevish is you're going to be ashamed of him because he's ignorant and foolish, and machpir because he does foolish actions. And those are two sources of foolishness. The first one's like, I assume based on like an identification of like, I raised an idiot, and then the siklus masav is my idiot son did X, Y, Z, Mishadet av yavriachem. Mishadet shiyashchis v'yashadet nachasav. So that means he will destroy and deplete his possessions, his monetary worth. Amar yavriachem mipnei she'ein hasavlanus mitzuya b'nashim k'mo b'nashim. Women are not as patient as men. Al-kain tivrach mipanav lo tuchal se'es. Therefore, she will flee from him and will not be able to bear it. Yeah. I don't know if that's so true. Again, like I feel like in the movies, then fathers are quicker to disown their sons than mothers are. Like the mother's the one who wants to it's aim Sisera, not of Sisera, yeah. It's, Harry Potter was saved by his mother, not by his father. Yeah.
Are you saying Sisera was a movie character?
No. But in my mind, it plays out like a movie. Yeah.
Whereas opposites were during the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to make of this one. I mean, I'm not. The thing I'm feeling lacking in here is getting a new idea. It's definitely a realm of practical consequences that can affect parenting, but it's not giving new parenting advice, like in specific. But I mean, I feel like on the other hand, we are getting to the main idea, because you see, even though the Metzudos David and everyone else take different approaches, the thing what would you say they have in common?
They're focusing on the consequences to the parents.
What kind of consequences?
Monetary consequences.
Yeah, monetary consequences, but I think it's more than that. I think it's monetary, long-term, extreme consequences. I see. Like you will if you don't raise your kid, you're going to be begging for bread. If you don't raise your kid, you're going to divorce your wife and pay her ksuba. And I feel like the fact that they all say this means the idea is somewhere there. And so in that sense, I'm confident in the approach we're taking, but I just don't quite feel like we got the full the full thing.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I guess you would have thought that raising your, why can't this just be the chiddush that like you would have thought that raising your kid would only have like consequences on like how your kids are raised.
Yeah.
Like that's an isolated area and doesn't affect you or your marriage or your whatever.
Yeah.
And then no, saying like that actually could have.
Yeah. So I think that is the closest we're going to get to the main idea. Now, something's still bothering me, which I can't articulate, but to put it in Mishleic terms, the household is a system, and the kid is a part of the system. And the nature of any system is that if you affect one part, you can affect a very remote part because it's all interwoven. So whether that be this is the idea now I'm realizing as I'm saying it, whether it's this is the thing I was missing, whether it's like the marriage or the finances or like the standing in the community in terms of like the fact that these people raise like idiots, or the fact that like you're gonna have to sleep in the field, it affects the entire system. And I think the naive thought is like, what's the worst that can happen is like my kid doesn't turn out the best thing, but the kid's part of the system, and the emotional attachments make him part of the system forever in a sense. And that can drag the entire system down. Yeah, that's the Mishlei idea. That's good. Okay, good. All right, I'm happy with that.
Cool.
You want to look at Rashi just for kicks?
Yeah.
Check this out.
Oh, I have another idea.
Yeah.
Like possibly, maybe the audience is the Ben.
Okay.
And saying that the Ben thinks that embarrassing his parents or whatever, doing embarrassing things, like whatever, his parents are just gonna like be upset at him or whatever. Like nothing's really no big deal. But like it's saying no, like they're actually it's gonna drastically affect their life.
That is so. Yeah,
you might care about that.
Yeah. So when I started off thinking of this as the Ben Mavish who's a fool, I would not be open to that interpretation. But if this is just a stam Ben,
right, then
yes, that's definitely then this could be for the son. Yeah, because then he is open to tochacha. Rashi Mishade av Yavriach Aim, so vi Yavriach Aim. So that's interesting. I don't know why he says vav, but whatever. Ben Mevish machpir drachav, so he will cause shame and embarrassment from his ways, of his ways. I don't know, but here's the thing: Al yidei sharas Sarah as ben Hagar hamitzris, through Sarah seeing the son of Hagar the Egyptianess, Mesachik la'avodah zara v'gilei rayos, who was jesting with avodah zara and gilei rayos, garam shnishtalcha mipnei Sarah, that caused her to be cast out from before Sarah. V'yira hadavar ma'od be'enei Avraham aviv, and then that was very bad in the eyes of Avraham, his father. So, you could say that that's an example of what we just said. Where like the fact that Hagar's ben was a ben mevish umachpir, that actually caused a friction in the relationship between Avraham and Hagar, but also between Avraham and Sarah. You got to imagine, because she's the one who kicked him out, and Hashem had to say like, listen to everything that Sarah says. Yeah. So like that's a case where it wasn't even Avraham's fault necessarily. I mean, I don't really know what the parenting was, but like it seems like. I've never seen. I mean, again, I'm not a bucky in like midrashim about Avraham, but I've never seen anyone like blaming Yishmael's bad midos on like bad parenting on Avraham's part.
Yeah, I've never seen anything.
Yeah, so like
it seems like it's because of Hagar.
There's what?
Because of Hagar.
Yeah, that's what it seems. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Good.
Yep.
All right. Good. Let's stop here.